Hi guys, welcome back. In this clip, we are going to work on the final part of the series on how to integrate Paystack Webhook into your applications. As you can see, I've logged in into the cPanel, and the next thing I will need to do now is to create a new file. So let me create a file, and we're going to call the file Paystack Webhook underscore API. Alright, let me create the file now. So let me look for the file. Okay, this is the file. So let me open the file. All right. Our PHP here. Then, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to have a PHP constant. So I will say define, then have a paystack underscore app underscore secret. All right, then comma. So we will need the secret key now. So let me log in to the Paystack website to grab the secret key. So as you can see now, I've successfully logged in into my Paystack dashboard. So let me go to preferences, then API keys and webhooks. So let me go to test mode now. Okay, then grab my test secret key. So here now, I will paste it here. All right, we can terminate. So the next thing I will need to do now is to define a function. I will call the function verify webhook. So let me have function keyword here and verify webhook. All right. So our function is going to take two parameters. We have the first parameter to be $data, second parameter to be hash mark underscore header. All right. So now I will declare a variable called calculated underscore hash mark. Right. So we have a base 64 underscore encode. So what does this base 64 underscore encode do? Actually, the base 64 underscore encode function is an inbuilt function in PHP which is used to encode data with my base 64. So we want to encode our data now with base 64. So let's continue. Then we will have hash underscore hash mark. So this is also another inbuilt function in PHP. This is used to generate the key hash. So the next one now, we have a quote, then we have SHA-256, then followed by our data here, the parameter. Then we have our constant here, stack underscore app underscore secret. Then the last parameter here, we have true. All right. So we now return hash underscore equal equals. This is another inbuilt function in PHP which is used to compare two strings using the same time, whether they are equal or not. So the first string, we have this variable, and then the second string to be compared is our variable here. So I copy it, paste it there. Let me terminate it. Okay. I think we are done with our function now. So let's move to the next step now. Alright, so the next thing we want to do now, let me copy our second parameter here and use it as a variable. Then the value of it is the dollar underscore post. Then we have x dash stack dash initial and terminate it. Alright, then let me copy our first parameter here. Then it becomes a variable. Then I will say file get content. Then single quote php colon forward slash and input. Alright. The next thing we want to do now is to declare a variable called event and then have a JSON underscore decode. Don't forget what we retrieve here is a JSON object. So we need to decode it by turning it into an object or array. So if we should say JSON underscore decode and get our variable dollar data here, we put it here, then get an object. But in our own case, we want to convert that JSON object to an array, to an associative array. Then we supply second argument true. All right. So we terminate it. Let's try to suppress possible error here. Let's see dollar at. Yeah. All right. So let's declare another variable called $e, which will be an empty string for now. All right. Then another variable called data array. So we have our array here, which is going to be an empty array. So the next thing we want to do now is to loop through what we have here, our array. We want to look through our array here. So we use for each. So have a here. All right. And we have a event as $key, then $value. Right. So our dollar array here, which is our array, then the key we have here. So add the key here, then $value. So whenever we run the code, so we are going to be mutating this our array by whatever value we supply here will be entered, or elements rather that we have here, we have it inside this our array. So now then our variable $e equal add slashes, then we have $value id, then first one, so we terminate it. All right. The next thing we want to do now is to declare another variable called $amount. This is going to be an empty string. Then the next thing we need to do now is to declare another variable called imp. Then we have a inbuilt function. We want to turn this array into string. So we copy this and then we have our array here. Then right. So we have successfully turned our array into a string now. Alright, so the next thing now is for us to declare another variable called $ref for reference. We have a $data array here, copy it, and have a data, then reference. Reference. We're going to make use of all this data now. Then status. You want to get the status of what is returned by Paystack. Have a last status. I don't want to comment much because I already have video tutorials on the front end concerning how to get the return data from Paystack, how to use them, the ones you need, how to grab them. I think I already have a video tutorials on it. So I will say equal. Let me grab the array here. Have a data status. All right. All right. So the next thing now is to grab the amount. We say dollar amount equal. So that we already have a variable called amount. Let's say dollar amount equal. Let me grab everything here. And we have data then amount. All right. So our amount now I have amount amount divided by 100, then dollar event, then our data array, then event. All right. So you can start making use of the value, the amount, the status, the name, the customers. So the JSON being returned, then you have successfully converted it into either an object or an array. But in our own case, we are using array here instead of an object. So you can do whatever you want to do with it, probably by saving it to the database. Okay, let's just try and save it into the database we called the verification last time. So let me quickly log in into the database. As you can see, we are in the database now, and then the payment verification table. So I've removed all the data we used in the React and Next.js tutorial. So these are the feeds. You can see verification ID, reference, amount, created at, customer ID. We are not going to have this customer ID, name, and the rest. We are not going to have them, but maybe we can still add them. So let's see, because I don't want the video to be too long. I already have a tutorial that covers all these aspects. So let me go back to our file. So the next thing we need to do now is to write a query. So the first thing I will do is to test if dollar event equal to charge dot success. This one should be inside the code, sorry. Right. And dollar status equal to success. Then now insert into our table. So we just say SQL for insert into our table. Our table here, let me grab the table and here. Then we have a hash. Paste my table name. So we have a insert into payment verification table. Let me grab the first feed here. There's a verification ID. I put it here. Then there's a reference again. Then there's a amount. Then status. We have values. Then we have a string quote followed by comma, another string quote. So here now we have ref, ref here. Then let's get the customer ID first. Yeah, that's customer and customer ID. Alright, let's have this course underscore ID. Right, so copy this, paste it here, then the next one amount, have the amount here, then string, paste it, then another one, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4 here, okay, 4 feet, so the last one, then another string, which is status. What's our status? Okay, this is our status variable here, grab it and we paste it here. All right, so query now and say $sum. Now you are free to use anyhow you insert your data into the database. Your best format, the format you use, either the PD or whatever. You are free to use anyone you are familiar with. So DB query, then the SQL argument here. Alright, let me terminate it first. So the next thing now is to have a file underscore put underscore. Then I have a view is going to be encapsulator dot depending on your own part, but my own part now, as you can see here, I'm having view here. So it depends on your own part. That's my own part. So we want to create a new file. So I will still call it paystack underscore webhook API underscore API, but the extension will be text. All right, let me create the file now. All right, you can see the file is successfully created here, so it's empty. So if I should just try to grab the file now, let me just open the file and try to grab it. So let me open it down. All right, so let me go back to the file. All right, so put is the file. Then the next one here have a PHP underscore EOL to print the correct end. So the next one here, dollar, right? And we have a file underscore append, right? Use this. Then let's declare another variable called verified for then our function now. Want to make use of our function we defined here. So let me grab the function here. All right. So let's try to supply our argument. Now we have dollar data, and then just the way we have it here. So let me copy this also. All right, paste it here. All right. Then we have a HTTP underscore response underscore code. All right, let's have a 200. Let's need it. Let's try to save our file now. So the next thing we want to do now, let's try to link our file now, this file now in the Paystack webhook feed they provide for us. So let's go back to the Paystack website. So we are still there now. So the next thing that we do now, we need to grab the URL first. Let me grab the URL from here to here now. So I paste it here. So the name of my file, the webhook file now. So let me grab it also from here to here now. Right. So I'll grab the name of the file, I paste it here, then I can now save it. Okay, that one is done. We've successfully saved it. You can see test webhook URL. So your URL and the name of the other webhook file, you have to include it here and save it. So having successfully done that, I think we are good to go now. So let's try to run and test our code. So let me open another tab. So having done that, the next thing we are going to do now is to test our code. So the code we the part 2, the code we wrote in the part 2, the inline JS is what we want to use to test it now. So I will say, we go to the URL. I think Paystack underscore webhook. Yeah, that's the name of the file. Okay, you can see it here now. So let's try and input something here and click on this. All right, let's fill in our card details and click the pay button first. All right. So if everything goes well, we should have something in our file here. Let me try to reload the file. Oh, nothing is in the file. I think we're having errors there. So let's try to fix the error first. Okay. Okay, let's try to look at the errors. Okay, from here. Okay, I think here should be a string. All right. So let's try to do something once again. Let me come here and try to fill in our card details. All right. Let me fill in card details first. Okay. To our database. And the error still continues. All right. Let's go back. I think okay, this should be file put contents. Should be file put contents and what else? And we should have this to be okay. File get contents also. Right. So okay, let's try and save to see what's actually going on. Let me pay again and click on the button. All right. So nothing is happening here also. All right. Okay. Let me try to refresh the file. All right. Okay. I think we have the data now. All right. So everything is stored here. So let's try to see if what's happening to the database first. Okay. I think we have a verification 19. Then we have a customer here. Data customer and that is so let's just have a ID first. I think the first one we're having here is verification ID. Well, let me just use the reference ID. All right. So let me come here once again and see the returned customer code. Let me change this to customer code. Right. Let me save once again. So let me fill the form and make the payment. Right. So what do we have here? Nothing is showing. Also, I think there's error in our SQL. We have a customer ID. And this, let me remove part of this first and remove. Let's try to remove those ones first and let's insert just a single into the single field first. So let me click on it once again. All right. Yeah. So let me refresh it once again. All right. So you can see we have the first instruction here. So what is happening? So let me try to look at the reference first. Let me copy the reference. The reference. I think there is typo in our insertion here. Okay. This one now should be reference. All right. So let me see if once again. Make payment. Then fill in my card details. All right. Let me refresh. Okay, you can see we have our reference. So that's how to go about it. So I think there is error. So you can just do the remaining ones. So any data being returned by Paystack, anyone you want to make use of, you can actually come here and make use of it according to your own requirement and needs. So if you want to make use of the currency, the IP address, reference, gateway response, then the time, the authorization code, then the kind of card you use, the bank, the signature account. So all of them, the data, the customer information, as you can see. So email, the code, phone, because I didn't supply the phone number, the metadata. So whatever you need, so they are all here. So you can make use of them as you can see here now. So that's how to go about it. So what I needed, I've successfully, you know, taking them for according to my own requirement and needs. So this is what I've decided to use. And if there is an error, let's say probably internet failure or something happens when the customer was about to make the payment. So if there is any error, if there is any problem, then you can easily come here into your file here, get the customer's detail, then come here and you just retrieve the customer details here. So if I should let me refresh the page now, you will see that because I've made the repeated the payment, you can see now that we're having more than one here. Now you can see we have another one here, another event. You can see them. You can see them now. So if any customer has a issue with their payment, then automatically when you come here, you just ask, let's say you want to search for a particular ID or the reference being returned to the customer. So I can just type the customer's the reference number or probably using the customer's email. Email will be the best requirement. So you just collect the customer's email. You come here, you just try to find it. So you can see I can easily search for the customer's details. So once I get there, get the customer's email, then I'll be able to look at what actually happened if the charge is not successful. So you definitely see it here. So you can now talk to Paystack concerning the issue. Thank you for watching. If you find this video helpful, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new to this channel. Thank you so much for watching.